بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
يا إخوتي ماذا نقول؟ أم حزننا جلب البكاء لصحبة أهل المحبة والإخاء. يا إخوتي ماذا نقول؟ أم حزننا جلب البكاء لصحبة أهل المحبة والإخاء. عاشوا على هدي النبي يرجون رحمن السماء.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. One of the great Imams, Imam Bukhari, when he described about Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, he said Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, or those who have itbah to Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, those who follow the safe sect. The safe sect are Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions. They are known as Al-Firqatul Najiyah, those people who have been guaranteed the Jannah, and they are the best example for us to follow. He said those who follow them, because those people who follow them, they will always exist until Yawm al-Qiyamah. They will always be that ta'ifa, that group, that victorious group who will be upon Sarat al-Mustaqim, but particularly following the Nahw al-Salaf, meaning particularly upon that understanding of the Salaf al-Salih, of those first three generations, and in particular the Sahaba understanding. Yeah, which is why we never talk about as-Salaf al-Salih and make complete taqleed to the A'immah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, such as Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi, Malik, or Imam Ahmed. Rather, they are people who we will refer to in order to go to the source of the understanding of the Quran and the Sunnah, which are the Sahaba. So they're merely a reference point, a mechanism in order for us to reach the haqq. So when Imam Bukhari, when he described those people who follow Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, he said they are never confined to one particular place. They are never confined to one particular place, and they are spread everywhere. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he said in his Majmu'ah al-Fatawa volume 3, he said that Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, again speaking about those people who follow the safe sect, yeah, you and me are not the safe sect. Those people who follow the safe sect are not the safe sect. They do not become the Islamic standard for me to follow. Rather, they are people upon the haqq, and I want to be with that jama'ah, with that body, who follow the first generation of Muslims. He again said exactly the same thing. He said, Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they are not confined within one particular area, rather they are spread out everywhere. But he went further as well. In the same statement, he mentioned two qualities of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah we should be aware of. He said they are known by two particular matters. If you understand them, and if you comprehend them, and you know them, then you will know who is upon the manhaj of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah today. They are the people who follow the Sharia, and they follow the Jama'ah. So clear for us. Why I mention this? Because nowadays we have a problem of people saying we need unity. We've got so much problems around the world. We've got problem of Gaza, of Iraq, of Afghanistan. We've got problem of ikhtilaf amongst our own so-called scholars and ulama. Some say voting is allowed. Some say voting is not allowed. Some say to join the parliament is allowed. Some say no, you can't. Some say you must destroy the parliament. Some say you must overthrow all regimes. Some people say there's no Dar al-Islam that exists. Other people, they believe Britain is Dar al-Islam. As long as you've got a nice kameez on and a carrot in your mouth and a jar of honey and a packet of condoms, there's nothing to worry about. You just live comfortably. You just live your life and just walk around like as if you're living inside the Khilafah. However, that is not the case. So people, they will talk about unity. How can we have this unity? So one of the things which will unite us and will cause the unity is what? Khilafah, Sharia, it could be the economic system, it could be you driving a BMW, or you having this conference, or you having that event, or being part of this group, or having that title. None of that will bring the unity. The number one thing which will bring the unity amongst the Muslim community will be the Tawheed. But specifically for those people who want to work for the revival of Islam and to bring about unity, which is going to bring about fruits, meaning where we have Iqamatul Ummah, where we have Iqamatul Sharia, when we have the establishment of the Ummah on state level, when we have Talabul Izzah, when we have complete sovereignty for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will take not only the Tawheed as a prerequisite for the unity, but they will say we take the Tawheed and the understanding of the Jama'ah, meaning the first generation of Muslims, Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So this is the topic which we will discuss tonight, not the issue of unity, because the topic of unity, people, they misunderstand Tawheed today. This is a problem. The topic is the swords of brotherhood. How we can have this brotherhood today, and how is the brotherhood understood between theory and between practice? Because people that understand Tawheed as meaning wahda, it comes from unity, and people, they talk about that. They say, you want to study Tawheed Rububiyyah, okay, let's talk about uniting the lordship of Allah. You want to talk about Tawheed al-Ibadah, Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, let's talk about uniting all of the acts of worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's like saying, okay, let's unite the car together, yeah? Let's unite the car parts together and put them in the right place. But you can have all of the parts of the car together, the steering wheel and the jack and whatever, you know, the motor inside it, everything, yeah? However, without the petrol, it's not going to work. You see? So when we talk about at-Tawheed, we never define it as unity. Yeah, is the cause of unity, but Tawheed itself, it is al-ifradillahi bil-ibadah. It is the exclusivity of the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala completely in all of my life's affairs. Which is why when we talk about the swords of brotherhood, when we talk about the wahda, this al-akhuwa, this brotherhood that we're talking about, it will be based upon that particular foundation of at-Tawheed, of kalimat la ilaha illallah. The ayah said in the Quran in Surah Al-Hujurat, verse number 10, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Innamal mu'minuna ikhwa. Allah said that the believers, they are brotherhood. Now this ayah caused a lot of controversy nowadays. Why? Because some people, they say we're going to have global peace and unity conference. Oh my God, what's the global peace and unity all about? Sounds like some funky rave in the Stratford Rex or something like that. It's not talking about that. The global peace and unity is talking about how can we establish peace within the earth and unity, unity amongst humanity. I mean, we become brothers in humanity. When the ayah said completely the opposite of that, it never said the brothers in humanity, but rather it said the believers, they are brotherhood. And the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Al-Muslim akhul Muslim." He never said anything else. He never said the British and the Americans. He never said the blacks, the whites, the Chinese, the brown, the coconut, the coffee, the cappuccino, the yellow, the pink, the brown, the strawberry, the gateau. Nothing like that. Oh, he said the believers, they are a brotherhood. Meaning when we talk about the brotherhood within Islam, it is not a matter of hukum shari. Meaning it is not decisive commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us to do something. No. To stay away from the alcohol, it is hukum shari, command not to do, like a prohibition. Stay away from the alcohol, yeah. But rather, when we talk about brotherhood, it is hukum akadi. It is a matter of aqidah, meaning it is a matter of my belief. Anybody who contradicts that, or he says, well, I don't believe that there's this brotherhood between the Muslims, there's brotherhood between all of humanity, this man, either he's majnoon, jahil, or he needs to take his shahada again. He never understood the ayah of Surah Al-Hujurat. So that is what we're talking about, the brotherhood being a matter of aqidah. Why? Because part of our Tawheed al-Ibadah is Tawheed al-Mahabbatu wal-Wala, to love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exclusively. Meaning I love, remember, when we talk about Tawheed and we talk about the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I believe in them exclusively. I worship Him exclusively with all of His names and His attributes and His particular functions. So when I talk about loving Allah, I will love Him completely, and in my heart there is no room for love for anybody else. And for the sake of Allah, I will love those who He orders me to love. Not for my own sake. It could be this man, he's got big ears and he's got a long nose, or maybe he likes chicken doner. I like lamb doner. I do like lamb doner. It's true, yeah. But it doesn't mean I'm going to make complete bara from him. Oh, he doesn't like lamb doner. I'm not going to be friends with him. Which is what the kuffar they have. They have this unity based upon football club. Yeah. Your mum slept with my dad, something like that. Come on then, we might as well do it as well. Yeah. Do it in the back alley, whatever, something like that. Yeah. They have unity based upon this. But rather we're talking about the love. It must be based upon for the sake of Allah, and my hatred, it must be for the sake of Allah. That doesn't mean I discriminate against anybody for my own personal reason. I will never do so. And also at the same time, if my own desire conflicts with my own interest, yeah, I will never let that override what the Sharia says when it comes to the hukuk of my brother. Yeah, Al-Hafidh Al-Hakami rahimahullah, he described 6 signs about a person who loves his Lord. And from this statement we will prove why this is a matter of aqidah. The hadith and the ayah are clear, yeah? But for some people it's never enough. Like I was speaking to one person once. We were talking about the American troops being let into the Holy Land. And I said, listen brother, you know, the hadith of Rasulullah, it said that no two religions can exist within the Arabian Peninsula. He said, but Uthaymeen said. I said, oh, I'm telling you what Rasulullah said. You're telling me what Uthaymeen he said. I don't give a damn what Uthaymeen he said. I'll tell you what Rasulullah said. And many people you find like that. They want to use the statements of their ulama to comment above the divine text, to comment above what the Quran it says. You say to them, no, the ayah said this, you know, the ayah said that they'll never be pleased with me until I follow their religion. He says, no, but that was for them. Just put a little bit of typics out of that. Oh, and you need to go to Surah As-Salam. That's how you catch people out. They said, what are you talking about? You're trying to teach me Quran. I read Quran 1 million times. Okay, you read Surah As-Salam. Yeah. You fool, you're a liar. There's no such thing as Surah As-Salam. This person's a complete disaster, you see. Like this one guy, he's a police officer. He tried to arrest me once. He's Muslim. He's kafir anyway, yeah. He's Muslim, yeah. And he said to me, he said, you know, Rasulullah said we need to obey the law of the land. I said, really? Where did he say that? And he said, it's in some book of hadith. I said, alright, okay, some book of hadith. This other fool, Shahid Malik, yeah, who's MP or something like that, he's an even more of an idiot than this police officer. He said Rasulullah said in the Quran we need to obey the law of the land. I said, wait a minute. We need to, Rasulullah said within the Quran. That's going too far now. You know what I mean? That's complete foolish. You know, like the person, he phones you up and he says, hello, yeah, I lost my mobile phone, I don't know where it is. That's why complete loony, you know, complete majnoon. So let's look to what Al-Hafidh Al-Hakami he said with regards to the signs. These 6 signs, if they exist, then that means that you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, number 1, that he gives precedence to what he loves, even if it opposes his own desires. Yeah? So for example, now I'll use the example of alcohol. The ayah said, keep distance from the alcohol. The ayah never said, don't drink the alcohol and stay away from the alcohol, but if it doesn't make you drunk, then therefore you can drink it, which is what people they say today. Like this fool, Yusuf Qaradawi, we call him Kiradawi, the laughing monkey. Yeah? He's passed fatwa on the European Council of Fatwa, which is based in Ireland, I believe, yeah? They said, so long as there's 1% alcohol within the drink, or minority, yeah, they will go minority, majority, then you can drink it. The ayah never said so. So some people, they use these type of fatwa to further their businesses or put their own interest above the Sharia. Like there's one local business here, he's got halal meat. So for Allah Akbar, that deserves like 10 takbeers. He's got halal meat now, alhamdulillah, we can go and have some lamb donor from him. And he's got a buffet as well, which is excellent. £8, all you can eat. It's better than this, you know what I mean? £8, all you can eat. So you're going to go there, you know, from straight 1 till 5, innit? Have breaks in between, go to prayer, come back, everything, you know what I mean? Yeah? Pray Asad in the restaurant, do all of that, yeah? But this man, he doesn't sell alcohol, but he allows the alcohol to be brought onto his premises. You see? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So what is the difference between that and somebody, he says, listen, I know your wife, she's there and she wants to sell herself, but she cannot be employed for, I cannot employ her, meaning I can't sell her. But if you want to sell her, then that's no problem. So the pimp's bringing in his whole charade, you know. This Warsi woman, she's walking in as well, you know. And obviously we heard some bars from some of the kids recently, and they said, what did they say? They said, a slag's a slag, and if I see you, I'm going to do more than grab a bag. Yeah, you remember that one, yeah? So it's not a death threat or anything like that, yeah? But this is the bars that we hear in the streets, you see, with the youth, you see, the Salafi youth movement, yeah? So he said that he gives precedence to what he loves, even if it opposes his own desires, yeah? And that's why the hadith of Rasulullah, it said, La yu'minu, none of you is a true believer until his own hawa is in line with what I have brought, in line with the Sharia. And then number 2 he mentioned, this is in Roman numerals, so I'm going to get lost which one I'm on, yeah? He said number 2, to hate what Allah hates, even if his own desires are inclined towards it, yeah? Which is why you find some people, they can't give up the alcohol, and you know, they're like, you know, I want to come into the deen, but I can't give up, you know, the herb and the sensimania, the hubble bubble, the magic pipe, all of these sort of things. You need to give that up. Number 3, to show sincere love and help and wallah to those who ally themselves with Allah and His Messenger. So subhanallah. So we're talking about here the signs that the person, he loves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here, not talking about just your own desires here now, about what you love and what you should hate, but talking about wala and bara is so fundamental and so crucial for us to understand. Then he went on to say number 4, to show enmity to those who show enmity towards Allah and His Messenger. Yeah, which is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ أَدُوَّ لِلْكَافِرِينَ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's an enemy to the disbelievers. So who am I to then take them as a friend? You see? So it's not something personal, it's not something, I don't like the Jews, or I don't like the Christians. No, it's nothing like that. You know what I mean? And, you know, incidentally, we'll mention it later on anyway, yeah? But It's not a matter of my own personal desire. I always love and hate for the sake of Allah. And then he went on to say, number 5, I believe this is now, to follow his messenger, to follow the Rasul, and number 6, to accept his guidance. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was the best example when it came to the Aqidah and the Tawheed being manifested into action. Like when the man, he came to Rasulullah, he said, "Do you love me?" He said, "No, I don't love you. I hate your guts, but I'll never do any injustice towards you." You see, so we're not like these kuffar when they come and they say, yeah, we know we do hate you, we want to get revenge because of 9/11, but we're also going to build you a bridge, but we have to bomb you first. This is complete nonsense. So when it comes to discrimination, or when it comes to oppression, Islam is anti-discrimination and anti-oppression. But it doesn't mean that I do not discriminate based upon your faith. Of course I am. Even Christian, he does that. Even Jew, he does that. You're telling me some Jewish man comes, or Christian, or Hindu, Sikh, weak freak, and he says, "I want to marry your daughter." You're going to give your daughter to him? I will discriminate even amongst the Muslims as well. Yes. Somebody, Hizbut Tahrir, he comes, and he says, "I want to marry your daughter." Yeah. Or somebody, Ekwanji, yeah, Ekwanji, or one of those Salafi Talafi, says, "I want to marry your daughter." I say, "Yeah, you read the Terrorism Act." Yeah. I'll show you terrorism. Don't touch me. Yeah, you're talking about, I will marry my daughter to somebody of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So everybody, they discriminate based upon their own religious belief. But otherwise, why would you say your religion or your deen is the truth if you didn't discriminate? So what we understand from all of these statements is that when we talk about the brotherhood, when we talk about the swords of brotherhood, we're talking about a bond based upon allegiance, alliance, nusra, himaya, completely towards the believers, complete support, alliance, complete wala with the believers. And that's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went further and he described, he said, the strongest knot of iman is al-hubbu fillah wal-bughdu fillah, al-muwalata fillah wal-muwadata fillah, to love for the sake of Allah, and to have hatred for the sake of Allah, and to have alliance for the sake of Allah, and to have complete disassociation between for the sake of Allah. So when we're talking about the swords of brotherhood now, and this is obviously after the long-winded introduction, we are talking about between theory and between practice. Between the theory and practice is where my wala and bara will come into play. Yeah? Because if you don't understand that, you will commit one of the nawaqid al-iman. So after you study at-tawheed, or once you study how to become a Muslim, and first of all, you shouldn't learn how to become a Muslim first. If you are new to the deen, first you should learn how to become a kafir. Yeah? So you make kufr on ta'hud, and then you believe in Allah. So you learn how to become a kafir first. So, okay, this is the checklist, this is what I'm not going to do. You see? Like the person when he claims benefits, this is the same thing he does as well when he goes on JSA, Job Seekers Allowance. They said, look, if you work more than 16 hours in a week and you don't disclose it to us, this is benefit fraud. So obviously I want to find out about that, innit? You know what I mean? If you don't know what not to do, then you're going to end up committing it. So one of the nawaqid al-iman which Shaykh Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab mentioned was to make alliance with the disbelievers. Yeah? Or to have tawalli. Muwalat, and then there's tawalli. There's a difference between the two. Muwalat is the ally, or maybe to give them some support. Maybe it could be administrative duty, which may be haram. But tawalli, that is the kufr akbar. That is the complete alliance and association which would take you outside the fold of Islam. And how many we know people that become kafir without to even know? People who have ilm. Because the hadith, it said so. We're not just something we're making it up. The hadith of Rasulullah said, a time will come when man, he will wake up as Muslim and go to bed as kafir. And vice versa as well. How is that? How I pray tahajjud, I do Salat al-Fajr, and we see many people like that. He's head of the European Council of Fadawa, this man Gardawi. How can it be that sheikh, he's the sheikh, he's a sheikh, yeah, people refer to him, how he become kafir? Because he says something or he does something without to even realize, and he goes outside the fold of Islam. So just before I go to sleep, and I think, okay, I'm going to do my istikhara, you know, which about marriage. Yeah, there's some good, 50-kilo woman, yeah, and I don't know whether I should. Yeah, should I marry that one or should I marry? Yeah, and then just after he done the istikhara, he says, "Oh, I've got to vote tomorrow. Who am I going to vote for? Yeah, the crazy loony party or the Labour Party?" And they should change the name of the Labour Party. They should call it the Red Light Party because of the amount of people that apostate and become prostitute for them. So one of the nawaqid al-Islam or nawaqid al-Iman is the tawalli. And that's why you can see many people, they end up losing their akhirah as a result. And this is why you can see many examples of that today. This man, Foodless Qaradawi, he said, it's allowed for you to join the US Army, so long as your niyyah is to command good and forbid evil. What are you talking about? You see? So don't be impressed by somebody who's got PhD and degree and all of this certificates. 7-story turbans and a beard down to his belly button. These people are just nothing but lap dancers, hookers, slags for the kings and for the prime ministers, which is what we find today. Completely in bed with them. Keep completely. When I talk about, you know, giving a pole dance for the king, I literally mean that. They're giving a pole dance and they're giving a lap dance for the king. They just rub him up and he slips 10 riyals inside his pocket, gives him a slap on the bottom and says, go give me a fatwa. Says, come back next week and we'll do it again. Yeah, that's exactly what you find. Yeah, the king, he's a pimp, and the scholar, he's a prostitute. You see, and America is just the police, because the police aren't interested in ending prostitution. You know they're not. They just go there and they just say, what's that? Oh, it's a massage parlor. Okay, that's all right, close the door. It's just a massage parlor. It's not prostitution. Just change the name of it. It sounds quite nice today. So this is what we find. Many of those examples of those people who commit the kufr without to even realize, or they don't talk about wala and bara when they talk about tawheed. And a good example of that is this fool Yasir Qadi. Yasir Qadi wrote so many books on Tawheed. Oh, mashallah, he even give lecture on Kitab al-Tawheed. He come and he talk about Tawheed Rububiyyah in depth. Usually people talk about in-depth understanding of Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. The man come and talk about Rububiyyah. I saw him on Islam channel. Yet when the man came face to face with one of the Tawagheet of our time, Tony Blair, he's shaking his hand. And he's like this, you know, like, ooh, like that, begging him. You know, it's like, oh, this is man so nice, you know. Afterwards he says, you know, actually I was quite impressed by this lecturer. SubhanAllah. Even the Shia, he understands a little bit of wala and bara. When the Shia, he came face to face with Bush, he threw the shoe on his head. You know what I mean? And people offering their daughters to this man. You see? So having big title is nothing. You know, people talk about Tawheed, and many people we know like this, they talk about Tawheed and Aqidah, and there's so many good teachers, they're such good, you know, so good at teaching Islam, and then next thing you know, they're at a GPU conference, and they talk about love and peace between all believers and disbelievers, which is absolutely not the case. So when people, they don't understand the brotherhood, they will not understand the ideological bond that we have, which is why when we talk about brotherhood, we are talking about brotherhood based upon that ideology of Islam. Yeah. And then when you understand that, then you will understand the concept of ummah. When we talk about ummah, we are not talking about people bonded together by a nation, or by a state, or by color, but rather we understand that the ummah is unity of people based upon an ideological bond. Yeah, based upon that. And when you understand that, then you will comprehend, and you can understand the hadith of Rasulullah where he said that the Muslim ummah is like one body. And if one part of it feels pain, then the rest of the body it feels pain. So show me those people who speak about this hadith today, where they talk about the ummah. People, they want to talk about Sida, and tomorrow there's going to be a conference about Battle of Uhud. Why you want to talk about Battle of Uhud for? I know why you want to talk about Battle of Uhud. Yeah, you will use the Sahaba and maybe indirectly even attack the Sahaba by saying they were disobedient. A'udhu billah. Yeah, to say, make an allegation like that to the Sahaba and say, therefore today we can gain the lesson because we disobey Allah, meaning you didn't use your miswak properly, or maybe you got a hole inside your sock which is bigger than a 20 pence piece. Therefore the Americans are bombing you inside Iraq and Afghanistan. This is complete nonsense. So you want to talk about Seerah and you want to talk about all of this. Why don't you talk about, okay, we'll talk about Uhud. How about next month, Mr. Sheikh, you come back and talk about Badr? What about Khandak? Where's the Khandak today? Tell me where's the Khandak today. I'm looking for it. Ghazwat al-Asab, I'm looking for it. They don't know. This one is it's not suitable for our reality. Why Uhud is suitable for our reality then? Why all the time you want to go just to demotivate and deflate the ummah, you see, and not motivate them towards a good deed? So we need to ask that. Where is that today? The ideological bond and the understanding of ummah today. You speak to some people, you say to them, but you heard what happened inside Afghanistan. Because Afghanistan, what's happening over there? Were you living inside a tree or something? You know what I mean? You know what's happening inside Afghanistan, yeah? These people are complete rubbish. So in order to have that brotherhood, we need to understand the divine texts, yeah? And that will revive the swords of brotherhood, nothing else. Because why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said in the Quran, if you had spent everything in the earth, you would not have brought their hearts together. Because there's no other deen that can bring the brotherhood together. Look at the kuffar. You think they got brotherhood? They don't say, my American brother. The Americans and the British are brothers. When they go to Iraq, they get a little bit bored, yeah? Next thing you know, some of them turn out to be gay, or they end up doing friendly fire. Some of them start shooting each other. I don't mind that. If you want to do that, no problem. Be my guest, you know, shoot each other, kill each other, do that all day long. They say it's friendly fire. I never heard of something called friendly fire. Friendly fire, you know, like friendly, anyway. Friendly urine, you know, I'm just urinating in any direction, you know, if it lands on your face, then it lands on your face, and it's just friendly urine. What is it? At least the urine won't kill me. Yeah, at least the urine won't kill me, but your bullet is going to kill me. You see? So no other deen can bring that, yeah? And you can see, although the kuffar, they don't have brotherhood, although they don't have brotherhood, they are still united in their war against Islam. So what we need is to establish the brotherhood between theory and practice, and have this reformation. So when we talk about the brotherhood, it manifests on a global scale. Meaning when my brothers are bombed inside Iraq and Afghanistan, I stand up for them and I say, they are my brothers, they are my sisters, and I'm with them. When you call somebody a terrorist, I say, no, he's not a terrorist, you're a terrorist. This man, he's not freedom fighter, because we don't believe in freedom anyway. Yeah, but he is my brother working to liberate his land, and I will stand with him. Maybe I'm not gonna, I'm not a terrorist or whatever you accuse him of, or maybe he is a terrorist. But irrespective of that, I will never put him down, and I will never sell him out, and I will never hand him over to the kuffar. So how we can do that today? That's a long introduction, isn't it? How we can do that today? I've got 8 ways of how we can establish that brotherhood between theory and practice. Number 1 is to give up nationalism, give up asabiya. And this is a disease which has been spread by the kuffar nowadays, where we start to fight each other and start to become proud. I'm Pakistani, or I'm African, or I'm Chinese, or I'm Bengali. All of these type of diseases you can find, which the kuffar, they spread amongst us to try and disunite us. Yeah, and we know that there's no izzah in asabiya. There is no honor in asabiya. The one who wants to be proud that he's Pakistani, the best amongst the Pakistanis is Musharraf. You want to be proud to be Pakistani? Musharraf is Pakistani. King Abdullah, King Fahd, Mubarak, Hosni Munafiq, all of these people are proud. So if you want to be proud of that, then have a nice day. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was never proud to be Arab, Hashimi or Qurayshi, nothing whatsoever. And as we mentioned, that the believers, they are brotherhood. He never mentioned the black, the white, the coffee, or the cappuccino, or the hot chocolate, or anything like that at all whatsoever. Allah said in the Quran, He said, "We have made you into nations and tribes, so that you may know one another." Yeah. He never said we made you into the black ummah or the white ummah. He said we made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. Yeah, meaning in this ayah we can learn 2 main lessons. First of all, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He negated racism amongst the ummah. There is no such thing as racism in Islam. So when people accuse us that you're inciting racial hatred, you're talking about rubbish. You look to your own history. Only 30, 40 years ago, yeah, black, you have to get at the back of the bus inside America. You have to have a separate doctor surgery. Why only now you're jumping up and down for joy? We got a black prime minister, a black president. What are you talking about? 1400 years ago, when Bilal was freed, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, you know what Rasulullah said to him? When he offered him Islam, he said, I will offer you Islam, and I will offer you one more thing. I will make you Sayyidunul Arab wal Ajam. I will make you the master of the Arab and the non-Arab. Nobody from amongst the Sahaba has been given this title. That is Bilal, the man who was a slave, and even after he embraced Islam, he still used to have because he was embedded within his mind so much, still he thought, I'm still a slave, even within his mind. You see? So even when the people, they used to praise him, and they used to say, look, your man, you do so much, and Rasulullah, he speaks so nicely of you. He said, I'm just a slave. Don't praise me to my face. You see? So this is what we need to understand. And the second lesson we can gain, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said we made you into nations and tribes, is that when the kuffar, they talk about multiculturalism, we have the best multiculturalism. Imagine if we're all the same. Yellow skin, Chinese eyes. With all due respect to anybody Chinese. How boring it would be just to have noodles all the time. The fact that Allah made us into nations and tribes so that you may know one another, how much can we celebrate this diversity? The kuffar talk about, let's celebrate this diversity. Hindu, Sikhs, Greeks, gays, lesbians, pedophiles, everybody just jump into one pot. No, sagalu is very nice. But when you mix that with lamb curry, and chicken curry, and doner kebab, and pizza, you get complete disaster. Like there used to be this burger, I don't know if you still have it in Luton. It was an egg and beef burger. Yeah? Complete bukwas. How can you have an egg and beef burger? That's complete nonsense. You know what I'm saying? So when we have all of this diversity, how beautiful it is amongst us. And we enjoy that. The Somalis, they have their sokar, big meat and rice. Bengalis, they have their fish. Pakistani, they have their chilies, that's all they eat. Yeah. If you're Jamaican, you got the jerk chicken. It's beautiful. So all of this we benefit from. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Laysa minna. He said, not one of us, the one who gets angry, the one who angry for asabiya, for nationalism, the one who calls for nationalism, the one who fights, supports, or gets killed for nationalism, then he dies the death of jahiliyyah. And you can see today, unfortunately, sadly, this is something that we need to give up, because the asabiya nationalism is everywhere, completely. Let's look to the number 1 thing where asabiya comes into play today. Marriage. Try yourself. Bangladeshi, Pakistani, you could be even Moroccan, even Egyptian. Go to Saudi Arabia and just try and say, I've just come for your daughter's hand in marriage. The man will open the door and say, you come for my daughter's hand in marriage. My daughter. Who sent you? You know, the muhabbarat or the spies of the government. He goes, no, I'm just come. I'm a Muslim brother. Yeah, I don't need no visa to enter inside this land. All the art belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I come to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage. He said, yeah, you read the Terrorism Act 2000. Are you a Irhabi? Are you extremist? Let me report you to the police. Completely like that. Then amongst people who are from the same country, from the same color, the asabiya goes even further. You're from Pakistan. Where are you from? I'm from Mirpur. Where are you from? I'm from Lahore. You're a terrorist. You're from Taliban. You see? You're not going to marry my daughter. We're talking about that's the mother of all wars now. Jihad Akbar being declared. Fardul Ain upon the whole family. The uncles and everybody will come. Hey, look, there's some guy here. He's from Lahore. Come for our daughter's hand in marriage. Whack him up. Send him on his way. So this is the kind of thing that we find. Then if it's not in the marriage, then it's within the masajid as well. Afghani masjid, Pakistani masjid, this is Indian masjid. Where are you going to pray Jummah today? I'm going to go to that masjid, the Somali one. The Somali one. Why are you going to pray in the Somali one? They're going to beat you up, man. What are you talking about? What do you want to go over there for? You know what I mean? Okay, just, I don't know, wear a topi and take a banana with you and some spaghetti. Maybe you'll mix in, maybe you'll blend in. Same thing vice versa as well. Somebody Somali, you want to go to the Pakistani one. What are you talking about? Barelwis, they're going to beat you up. They're going to call you Wahhabi. You know what I mean? Take some beads with you. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Say Allahu and just say, happy birthday to the Prophet, and they'll let you in. So within the masajid you find this nationalism with this asabiya. Then the other place where you find the asabiya so rampant and so dahir, so apparent today is the Hajj. Sadly, the Hajj. The place where we're all supposed to be united, where we all come, with all of our clothes, we leave our clothes and we just come with 2 pieces of cloth and we come there to make the tawaf. You find asabiya there. You see people carrying the raya. You see people carrying the banners of their own countries. There's Pakistanis, there's the Bengalis, and try mixing with each other over there. The police will come there. Hey, go back over there. You know what I mean? So in these governments, they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to forbidding munkar. These people are far from it. Yeah. Rather, in Islam, we only have one flag, the flag of La ilaha illallah. Either the black flag with the white writing on it, or the white flag with the black writing on it. Yeah. Which is obviously, you guys know about that very well, yeah? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he went further and he said, whoever honors himself with asabiya, and he described it as jahiliyyah, he said, then let him suck the private part of his father and be proud of it. Yeah? So I say that to Musharraf. You're proud to be Pakistani? Go suck the private part of your father. Even if you're not proud to be Pakistani, still go suck the private part of your father. And obviously the man is what we call in Urdu a kutta, yeah, a dog, yeah. So you can go there. You can, he'll say, yeah, I'll go there. I'll go and suck the private part. Because I heard this man, he likes dogs anyway. So we don't know what's going on. So the asabiya, it will is such a big disease because that will manifest via having oppression towards mankind, and you can see that today where people have this nationalism amongst the kuffar as well. The Americans, they used to oppress. They have this thing called Thanksgiving. And a Thanksgiving every November or something they have every year, they talk about the sacrifice of the Indians or something like that, yeah? They don't even have any Indians left in America. They killed them all. These old films that you see, cowboys and Indians, yeah? And asabiya nationalism here, you can see the fruit of that. You're British, which one are you? Are you English or are you Scottish? Yeah, are you Irish? Yeah, it goes so far. That's why there's a joke, isn't it? About the man, he went into the fish and chip shop in Ireland. And he goes, are you Protestant or are you Catholic? He said, I'm a Muslim. He goes, are you Muslim Protestant or are you Muslim Catholic? So, you know what I mean? So when it comes to the asabiya, when it comes to the racism, Islam, it will completely negate that. I was reading the explanation of the Talmud. The Talmud is the explanation of the Torah, like the tafsir of it. Full of racism. Honestly, people try to pull out some ayah from the Quran and say you got racism within the Quran. You don't know what you're talking about. In the Talmud, they're saying if there's a Jew stuck down a well, help him. If there's a non-Jew stuck down a well, then chuck a brick on him. Yeah, he's a goin. He's like, they call him a goin, like infidel. This term infidel doesn't exist within the Sharia. Infidel is a term which is the Yahud they made up, which they use as everybody who's non-Jew, you're an infidel. You see, and all sorts of things. I had some quotes, but I didn't have it. I haven't got them on me anyway. So that is the first thing you need to give up. The second one is you need to take up. The second one is to give your brother his rights, to fulfill his haqooq. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said in Ibn Majah, Sunan ad-Darimi, he said, whoever takes the rights of the Muslims in his hand, Allah has obliged him the hellfire. The Sahaba, they asked, Ya Rasulullah, even just some of his rights, some small amount of his rights, he said, even for the miswak, Allah will put you in the fire for that. You see? So let us look to some of the rights that your brothers has. Obviously that's a massive topic in itself, but I'm just going to mention 5. And this is reported from Abu Hurairah. Rasulullah said, your brother has 5 rights. Number 1, to return the salam. Oh my God, this one is a complete disaster, honestly. First of all, in the adab of the majlis, if somebody enters inside the room and he said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, it's sufficient for one person to reply the salam back on behalf of all of them. Nowadays you don't even get that. You go inside there as one person inside Regent's Park Mosque, for example. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Somebody replied, what are you talking about? Chinese or something like that? What do you want here? Were you a terrorist or something like that? You know what I mean? I see free mail just walked in, yeah? Some business going on like that, yeah? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said the salam is sadaqah. The salam is the sadaqah, yeah? So count how many times you do that in a day. How many times you say the salam. Every time you do that, it's like charity. To give the greeting of Islam is like charity. How many people they do that today? Hardly you find any. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went further and he said, 2 brothers who meet each other and depart from one another and they give the salam to each other. When they leave, Allah will forgive all of their previous minor sins. And another narration similar to this, he said that their sins would fall like leaves falling from the tree. You see? So how many people they do that? They could completely neglect this. They completely don't understand that, as if we're all Ahl Jannah, we're all going to go to heaven, and I don't know, it doesn't matter, oh, you're right, we mean salam. Like you see some people like that, you know what I mean? He comes in there, he say salam alaikum. I said salam to you yesterday, we need to say salam again for. What are you talking about? That was yesterday, that was last week. What's the matter? What do you want? Money? What do you want? You know what I mean? I ain't got nothing for you. Don't say jazakallah here to me. Yeah, just get out of my masjid, innit? Yeah, this is what you find. So number 2, the second right is that to visit somebody when he's sick. To visit your brother when he's sick. Now let us apply this between theory and practice. How many of us would do that? Not just within this majlis, but how many of us really do that? Visit our brother when he's sick, or even just pick up the phone and just ring him up and just say, I heard you're ill. How are you? Are you feeling better? How many of us we actually do that? Hardly. Only time you only ring him up. You want to do dawah today? Come on. You want to go to Luton today? You want to go to London today? Where you want to go? You want to you found me a wife yet? Yeah, yeah. But when the man is ill, you don't want to ring him up and you don't want to ask him how he is. So these are the, we've got practical advice here. When people talk about brotherhood and unity, then let us apply it within our reality. If we act upon this, we would have the brotherhood. Don't talk about we've got a lack of brotherhood. Then do something about it then. You've been given the advice from Rasulullah, act upon it. Number 3, in fact, no, back to number 2, in fact. Rasulullah said, this is a hadith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in a hadith Qudsi, that on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say to the abid, to the slave, he said, when my slave, he was hungry, he said, when I was hungry, did you feed me? And the man will say, how can I feed you? You're Allah. And he said, no, when my slave, when he was hungry, did you feed him? He said, if you had fed him, it would be as if you would be feeding me, even though Allah is not needy of anything. You see how much emphasis being mentioned about this. Number 3 is to attend his janazah. Yeah, I'm waiting for time. 5:30, you are 5 minutes, yeah? Okay. 15 minutes, yeah? Then we'll break, okay. Number 3 is to attend his janazah. And again, how many people they do that today? Yeah? You have the Jummah Salah, and then afterwards you have the janazah, and people just want to run out the door. When you don't remember that tomorrow it could be your janazah, and then, or it could be your father's janazah even as well. And then you're going to be wondering, where are the Muslims? And that's what you find. You people, they become upset. Like, why is everybody leaving? It's my father, the most beloved person to me, or my mother. Why you want to run out the masjid? What's so important that you got to go work in the bank, or you got to work in the restaurant or something like that, in the bank as well? You know what I mean? Complete riba as well. But you don't remember when every time you used to go to that Jummah Salah, every time you used to go to the masjid, then they used to make the adhan for the Salatul Janazah. I used to run away. And indeed, Rasulullah said, he said, visit the graveyards, not like how some people understand, but visit the graveyards, yeah, so they may increase your remembrance in the destroyer of pleasure, meaning it will be like a reminder for you that that's where you're going to end up. And that's a good way of dawah, in fact, as well. If somebody dies, and you know somebody jahil, somebody not practicing, invite him to the janazah, let him see what's going on in there. You know what I mean? Obviously the man is really, really corrupted. He's just going to be on his mobile phone thinking, okay, what we're going to do now? You got 8 for you, pick it up, blah, blah, blah. All this sort of business. Yeah? This type of business. Number 4 is to accept his invitation and pray for him. Now this one is a massive problem. Accept his invitation. Everybody loves the invitation. Well, you got married. Yeah, mashallah. Okay, when's the walima? Yeah, they don't care about who you got married to, or you want anything. Maybe you need a vacuum cleaner. What do you need? Some coke. You want something, maybe you want some money. No. When's the walima? You ain't got a walima. A disaster. This marriage is cursed. You know what I mean? A'udhu billah. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? When's your walima? You didn't invite me to the walima. All this kind of business, yeah? But look, to accept his invitation and to pray for him, it said. Yeah? So not just to go there and just eat all the food and just say, yeah, I didn't have enough chili in there. Yeah, I'm going home. What are you talking about? Make dua for your brother. You see? Amongst the, I don't want to say Borelwis, yeah? But amongst the Pakistani community and Asian subcontinent, the weddings are complete disaster. The weddings, how they happen, oh my God, forget the music and the drums. No. You got the bride and the bridegroom there, and then you got everybody, they come there, they eat all of the food, and everyone sparks up a cigarette and they're checking out the bride. Yeah. Oh, the billah, that's so disgusting, wallahi. Honestly, I remember when I was younger, family used to take me to these kind of weddings. I used to think, it's sick, honestly. Even from then, you see all these old men, they're just puffing away, you know what I mean? And then all the women, they go and it's out there, changing light bulbs and all this sort of business, yeah? Dancing, jumping and lumping everywhere, yeah? All this sort of business, yeah? Ding, ding, ding. I don't know. I've never done this before, There's a saying in it, like, I've never been to prison before in my life. I've never been there and I don't want to go back there again, yeah? Or something like that, anyway, yeah? So, to accept his invitation and pray for him. Number 5, when he sneezes and he says Alhamdulillah, to say Yahamakullah. Yeah, obviously that one many people don't have a problem with. However, the rest you can find there's some issues going on there, definitely. Number 3, we're on the third way on how to have the brotherhood. This is not it's not something to give up, but something to take up. And then you can drink 7-Up. To love for your brother what you love for yourself. Remember when we spoke about the meaning of al-wala, we're talking about al-ikram, to honor and to elevate your brother. You see, Anas bin Malik, he said, none of you is a true believer until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. That's why when you have the guest around your house, you don't just say, you're feeling a little bit peckish? Yeah, me too. Have a packet of peanuts and I'm going to have the whole pot of rice. That's complete bakwas, that is. You're supposed to honor the guest. When the traveler, when he's musafir and he says, I've got nowhere to stay, the brother, he has 3 rights. He has 3 days right over you. And if you cannot fulfill that, the ulama, they said that is kafara. He has the right to take that later on. So your brother, he has rights over you. 3 days of right of stay within your home, food, to honor him. Yeah. But look, as we mentioned, the hadith said to love for your brother what he loves for himself. Yeah. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Okay, you'll stay for 3 days, no problem. Yeah. There's a nice garden. No, alhamdulillah, you can all stay here. No, inshallah. We have to act upon what we obviously preach, yeah? Marriage. Yeah? Marriage. In this one, do we love for our brother what we love for ourselves? I remember I said to one brother once, I said, yeah, I'm looking for marriage. Yeah, I want to get married. It was a long time ago. And he said, what are you after? Obviously, when you're young, yeah, obviously I'm still young, only 17, yeah, you're a bit like naive, innit? You don't know what you're after, innit? So you just say, just somebody practicing, just somebody good, like some brothers, they're very, very picky, innit? He says, yeah, I want her to be like this, yeah, like size 10, and then she's got to be a size 4 shoe as well, yeah, blonde hair, brown eyes, this sort of business. And there's a tricking factor as well. When you get somebody picky like that, what you got to show him is all the ugly women. If there's one sister and she's good, but she's not that good, you show him all the ugly ones, yeah, all the big, heavyweights, yeah, with broken tooth, and nose to the side and one eye like that, yeah. You show him all of that, and then you show him the average one. You say, yeah, I'll take that one as well. Obviously, somebody greedy said, I'll take them all. Come on, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll take them all. Yeah, don't worry. You know what I mean? This is complete rubbish, yeah. So I said to my brother, he goes, what are you looking for in marriage? Yeah, I said, brother, look, just somebody, good practicing sister, because there's one good sister, very good in the deen, but just one problem. I said, what's that? She goes, she's got 1 foot. I said, we talking about 1 foot, man. You know what I mean? He goes, you told me that you want to marry somebody for the sake of Allah, and she has to have good deen, yeah? I said, why don't you marry her, innit? He goes, nah, I'm a 2 foot man. I go, 2 foot man, yeah? I'm a 2 foot man as well, innit? What do you mean, 2 foot or 3 foot? You mean 1 foot, man? Marry her yourself, then, innit? You want to marry her, you know what I mean? You want me to have a woman with 1 foot, yeah? So this is what we're talking about. Loving for your brother what you love for yourself. Then another example which came to my mind is the issue of car journeys, when people, they travel, yeah? Everybody, how many of us we implement that? Loving for your brother what you love for yourself. You got the middle seat. Usually, we compete with each other. We run. Ha! I got it. The front seat. Yeah, you can go sit in the middle like that. A'udhu billah. You know what I mean? Really love for your brother what you love for yourself. You sit in the middle, then, isn't it? I know one brother. I mean, Allah gave him the Jannah. He's not here anymore. But whenever I used to travel with him, he was used to travel in the boot. Because there were so many of us. There's 6 of us in the micro, innit? People always talk about how do you fit 6 Indians inside a car, innit? Yeah, that's how you do it. Put one in the boot, innit? The tallest one. Yeah, not one on the top and 3 on the sides, all this sort of business. He used to go in the boot. MashaAllah. And honestly, I don't forget this brother. He used to be in the boot, and sometimes we have to tap on it to see if he's still alive, you know. And he goes, yeah, I'm alright, you know, because I've got my phone and I'm reading the Quran. And once we were coming back from East London once, and he said, he goes, there's a cockroach in the back. I thought, oh my God, I would never go in there with a cockroach. I wouldn't go in there anyway, full stop, yeah, but with a cockroach. And he said, alhamdulillah, I got my light and I'm just reading the Quran. So this is obviously good. A couple of times he was like unconscious. We had to kick him a little bit. We had to wake him up, you know. I think he was unconscious, so he just fell asleep. But something like that. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam looked at how he made the brotherhood between the Muhajirin and the Ansar. Not the Muhajirun. The Muhajirin and the Ansar. He said to the Muhajirin, he said, and this is after the migration, he said, if your brother doesn't have a property, then give him half of your property. Yeah? How many people they do that today? You ask him, I want half of your property. Obviously these things been abrogated, by the way, yeah? But if you just to say to your brother, give me half of your property, say, go get a mortgage with somebody else. You know what I mean? Yeah? Go get a mortgage with somebody else. Go to, you know, Bradford and Bingley or Abbey National or with this new, they got this new name called Satandar, isn't it? Bunch of mushriks. Yeah, Satandar now, and it's Satandar singer. Yeah. So Rasulullah said, give half of your property if he doesn't have half. Then he went further and he said, give half of your land. Then he said, give half of your crops. And if your brother doesn't have a wife, then divorce one of your wives and give your wife to him. Who could do that today? Yeah, nobody. You go to say to somebody, he goes, I heard you got 3 wives there. Yeah. Could I have one? You want one? Yeah. Yeah, let me just go inside, yeah? Come out with a rucksack on, suicide bombing in the middle of London. You know what I mean? A complete disaster. Obviously, that has been abrogated. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said in Surah Al-Hashr, speaking about the brotherhood, he said, and they prefer their brothers over themselves, even if they are hungry. And that's why you can see there's always barakah when we eat together. Yeah? Whenever the brothers, they come together and they eat, you could have just like a couple of dates, yeah, but you will find yourself so full afterwards. I remember I was with our Sheikh Umar once, and there was one man and woman, they walked in and they wanted to get married. They had an appointment with him for nikah. So in between the talk, we had a little break and they done the nikah. So obviously the sunnah is to do the walima at the same time. I know there's some new sunnah which people do nowadays. They want to delay it for 6 months. Where's my walima? Yeah. So you know what they've done for the walima? There's one brother there, brother Muhammad Shamsuddin Abu Salihah. He went and got 1 Mars bar. We got the Mars bar chocolate and we just chopped it up into a couple of pieces and all of us were full. And it was about 10 of us. You see? So how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will put the barakah when the believers, they come together for the sake of Allah, and you can find that brotherhood manifested with those people who have the real, you know, the muttaqi, the real people of taqwa. You know, you walk inside someone's house and he's got hardly no furniture, no sofa, no nothing, just a couple of dates, and you feel bad. You think, you know, this brother hasn't got anything. Let me get him something, innit? He's like, alhamdulillah, Allah give me so much. Look, I've got 2 dates. You see what I'm saying? And you find the barakah within that. And how many times you've seen it in Ramadan? I'm sure you witnessed it yourself. You go to the masjid and you've been starving all day and you think, okay, alhamdulillah, they're going to have some big, you know, korma curry coming round, you know what I mean? Half a glass of milk and, you know, some date, you know, which fell off the back of a lorry or something like that. It's got some dust on it, yeah? And some samosa, and it's vegetable as well. You know what I mean? Vegetable. We're going to do the vegetable samosa, yeah? But alhamdulillah, you feel full. I mean, I know the local masjid, I was going there and they had halal meat and they had rice there and some lamb. And obviously my plate every day I was just getting rice with no lamb in it. You know what I mean? I'm like, what's going on? And he's got 2 pieces of lamb. I haven't even got 1. You know what I mean? But alhamdulillah, felt full after that. Anyhow, we'll break there for Salat al-Maghrib, and inshallah we will continue with the brotherhood between theory and practice, and how we can have the swords of brotherhood between theory and practice. Wa sallallahu sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. And we are now on point number 4 of something which you need to give up. So you can see what we're doing here. We're giving up and we're taking up. Yeah, certain things which you need to be aware of, certain things which you need to stay away from. And the 4th matter here of what you need to give up is suspicion. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, keep away from suspicion, for it is the most deceptive thing. And look to what he said. He said, don't attempt to spy on, to compete with, to have envy or be hateful of one another, but be ibadullah. But be the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, that hadith on Islam, we can meticulously, you know, look into that, into so much detail. But look, to spy on is what Rasulullah, he mentioned first. How many people now queuing up in a line saying, I'm going to go and join the MI5 or join the security services to go and spy on a Muslim. When a hadith of Rasulullah, it said, the one who's the peeping Tom, the one who looks through the keyhole, spies on a Muslim, he said, take his eye out. Yeah, people willingly, they want to do that. I was speaking to somebody, he used to work in HSBC Bank. I said, what are you doing this a job full of riba, full of all interest and all this haram? He said, yeah, I'm going to leave the job. I'm going to go and join the security services. You're a fool. What are you talking about? You're going to join the security services. You need to take your shahada again. Then he said, don't compete with. How many people we find competing with each other? You know, they call it like the keeping up with the Joneses, isn't it? Oh, he's my next door neighbour, he's got a BMW. He's got a BMW, I'm going to go get a Jaguar. Okay, he's got a Ferrari now. Right, I'm going to go and scratch his car up. I'm going to scratch his car up. He said, don't have envy. Don't be hateful towards one another, but be servants of Allah. Number 5, which is very, very difficult and probably one of the most difficult things to do. And I will explain why. It's been reported by Abu Sa'id al-Khidri. He said 3 things. 3, whoever does not have them, Allah will forgive anything else. Yeah? He said, whoever dies without shirk, nor does he make magic, and somebody who doesn't hold grudges against Muslims. So this point we call it to forgive and forget, and not to have al-hiqd. Al-hiqd is like a hardening of the heart, like a grudge that you have towards somebody within your heart. Why is it so hard? Because you might think, by theory, I'm not going to have a grudge inside my heart. But try yourself. When your brother comes to you and says, you put on a little bit of weight. No, it's just an extra large kameez I'm wearing. But you remember it for the rest of your life. Oh my God. You know what I mean? One Sahabi, Rasulullah, one Sahabi came to Rasulullah and he said, I guarantee for you the Jannah. And the people, they heard about it, and people, they were like excited, like, what did this man do? He got the Jannah. He must have done something, isn't it? I've done so many things and I haven't got the Jannah yet. What did you do? So one man came to this Sahabi and he said, what did Rasulullah say to you? What is the one thing that you've done that Rasulullah has guaranteed that you will get the Jannah? He said, I am a man who does not hold grudge inside my heart. You know what the other Sahabi, he said to him? And he said, verily by Allah, this is one of the most difficult things to do, not to have a grudge inside your heart. You see? So the grudge is something that you need to be aware of, because the grudge, it could lead to kufr. The grudge, it could be haram. It could lead to kufr, where, for example, you got it in for your next door neighbor and he's Muslim and you report him to the police. Or you say he's a terrorist or something like that. You accuse him falsely, false accusation. And it happens. It's happened, in fact. I remember our sheikh, he was telling us once, he was dealing with a case, a matrimonial case. This man has got 2 wives. One wife reported the husband to the police, said, yeah, he's a terrorist, he's about to do an operation. You know what I mean? Obviously the police investigated the man, there was nothing there, but still, this is what we find. So not to have hiqd towards each other. And practically, I'm sure you've maybe experienced that at one point or another. I know there's one brother, I spoke to him about maybe a year and a half ago. I said, you don't speak to anymore. He goes, brother, how can I speak to you after what you've done to me? What did I do? I want to know what I've done wrong to you, innit? So I can undo it. And he said, 3 years ago, you never said salam to me at Nakika. I said, 3 years ago? So for 3 years you haven't been talking to me. You never said salam to me at Nakika. He said, yeah. It's nothing personal though. What do you mean there's nothing personal though? It's for the sake of Allah. You're supposed to say salam to me. I said, listen, I put my mind back. Well, I can't even remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, let alone what I'd done 3 years ago. Yeah? I said, that day when you came and you said salam, my mouth was full of rice. I was just, because it's Akika, and I'm going to stuff myself silly, isn't it? Yeah? I've got the lamb up there, everything is all in my beard and everything. So I'm like, oh, I'll go shower like that. You know what I mean? Some broken salam. And I said, well, the other brother said salam to you. Why are you holding grudge against me? And he said, well, I haven't got over that. I said, okay then. Try to reconcile, but still he's still got a grudge against me. I don't know what we can do, you see. Now, the way to remove the grudges is via the Tawheed. The Tawheed is the solution for everything. When you study about the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it should affect your personality. There should be a particular purpose why you're studying it. Don't just talk about, I want to learn about the 99 names of Allah. Why? So then I will get the Jannah. Okay, but then you go completely against those names. Meaning those attributes, they don't affect your personality. Yeah? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is Ar-Rahman. That is His name. From the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His asma, we always derive attribute. This is one of the qawaid of al-asma wa sifat. Never we do it vice versa. We never derive a name from His attribute, but rather we derive an attribute from His name. Yeah? So His name is the merciful. Yeah? His attribute is mercy, rahmah. That should affect your personality. So when you read that and you study that, you will comprehend that and think, I want to be like that. Meaning, not like Allah, you can't become the all-merciful, yeah? But I want to become a man who has mercy within his heart. I want to be somebody who is forgiving, you see? And that will affect your personality, and that will ease any problems, any difficulties that you find amongst your brothers. Because many people today, they hold grudge for some stupid, silly reason. I remember one brother in East London, he was telling me, he said, there's so-and-so brother, he's upset with all the brothers in East London. Why is that? Because we never passed in the chili sauce when we were in the takeaway. Well, so over the chili sauce, you hold grudge within your heart. You see, it's completely crazy. So those things you need to be aware about, their names and attributes, and you want to study them. The hadith of Sahih Muslim, he said, Rasulullah said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, it's not allowed to desert a Muslim for more than 3 days. More than 3 days. Yeah? And that's why even the ulama, they said, there's only permit, the only permit you have to desert your brother is maybe he's fasik, or maybe he's doing some sin. Yeah? Obviously you don't want to be in his company, but maybe you want to teach him lesson, that look, I know you're a man who drinks alcohol, so I'm not going to stay near you because of this matter. Maybe Allah will give him the hidayah, maybe he make tawbah and he repents, and then you can reconcile. Yeah. But somebody fasik, fajir, somebody goes to the nightclub, I'm not going to have that as a friend. I'm not going to keep that as my company. Yeah. But he still has rights over me. Yeah. I will still try to give him dawah and try to maintain some relationship with him without to become involved with him and to be cooperating with him and being in the same majlis and being his best buddy, hanging around with him. Yeah. One of the things which I learned from our sheikh about how to remove the hikad, or how to remove the grudge within the heart, is to say the salam. The salam, it will abrogate everything from the past. But don't you say salam like munafiq. You say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the barakah of Allah be upon you. Now, in Arabic, we just say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. But when you say in English with full meaning, say, brother, I'm going to hold your hand now, I'm going to tell you, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. You say, yeah, it's my brother, yeah, you can marry my sister now as well. yeah, so long as it doesn't have no asabiyah, like that, yeah? So when you say the salam, you don't want to say it like munafiq. You want to say it properly, and you remove everything from the past. Number 6, it is to love the believers. And if you do that, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will love you. Reported in a hadith Qudsi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, He said, my love is inevitable for those who love each other for my sake. Those who visit each other for my sake. They maintain relationship and they help each other for my sake. Yeah? And another narration where Rasulullah spoke about the 7 people under the shade of Allah. Yeah? He mentioned 2 people who love each other for no other reason than for the sake of Allah. On Yawm al-Qiyamah, they will have the shade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see? So loving the believers is not just a matter of hukum akadi, as we mentioned, but is a way of you to get the Jannah, for you to have the shade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a way for forgiveness. And that's why Rasulullah said in another hadith, he said, there are 3 traits found in a person. If he has this, then he has tasted the sweetness of Iman. And he said one of them is to love a person for no other sake except for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Which is why we mentioned al-wala to the believers is completely for the sake of Allah, meaning al-hubbu fillah, to have al-ikram, to honor, to have ittiram, to have complete respect. And the opposite of that is to make bughd, to have complete hatred from the kuffar, to make al-khuzlan, never to support the disbelievers, to make al-izlal, to dishonor the kuffar. It doesn't mean that when you see the kafir, you just slap him up in the middle of the street and you just spit at him and you just say ha ha ha. But the reason why we need the wala and bara today, and especially it needs to be propagated by those in the dawah, is because people, they don't understand that. We have mentality now of complete defeatism, where we don't want to look up to the look to the kafir like this, like, hello, can I help you? We want to look up to him like that. Yes, what can you do for me? You see? So all you want to do is you want to make sure when you're in your dawah or in your personality, you don't want to portray yourself as somebody who's in need for the kafir. Rather, you want to understand that the kafir, he's in need of you. He's in need of your dawah. He's in need of your hidayah. Not for you to always look up to him and let me just kiss your backside and get my tongue brown. No, you don't want to do that whatsoever. Ibn Taymiyyah, rahmahullah, he said in Al-Mawalatul Imaniyah, he said it is upon the believer to have enmity for Allah's sake and allegiance for Allah's sake. If the person is a believer, then it is upon him to show allegiance to him. Yeah, so clear cut. And that's why you can see why Rasulullah said that a man, he will say a word without to even think about the consequences, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will drop him within the hellfire. And how many people you find like that? People, they come out without to understand their real identity, meaning I'm a Muslim. My allegiance is to Allah, to the Rasul, and to the Muslims, and I never ally with the kuffar. And all your citizenship and all your British passport and your national anthem, shove it up your backside. And if I got a passport, and if I don't need it, or if you really want me to show my bara, I will burn it and chuck it in between your legs. And hopefully a couple of the ashes will catch you and burn you as well. Your smelly part, yeah, where the sun don't shine. Nothing ever shines there, in fact, as well. Yeah, how many they speak the batil today by saying a word without to even realize. Like this man Asghar Bukhari or Kulfi Bukhari, he comes on the television every time. He's head of MPAC, and he said, we want to be British. We want to be accepted as British citizens. These people are complete foolish, you know. So this is what you need to understand. The last and final point is to, after all of that, is to have concern. To have concern for the ummah, to have concern for that global brotherhood. Remember we said the ummah is that global brotherhood, the unity amongst the Muslims based upon the aqidah, meaning we need to stand up for each other. We need to speak on behalf of those weak, those who are the oppressed, and speak out against the oppression, which last time when we met, I mentioned how many people they spoke up for Afia Siddiqui. How many imams they come on a mimbar and speak about it? Hardly anybody. So the hadith of Rasulullah can give a number of narrations with regards to this to understand this. Rasulullah said, Al-Muslim Akhul Muslim. A Muslim is a brother to another Muslim. And he went further and he said, he is a brother to another Muslim and he does not oppress him. And then he went further as well. Not just you not oppress him, but he does not fail him. He does not let him down. Meaning, okay, I'm not oppressing you, okay? But I see kafir oppressing you. Your haqq over me is that I must help you. I must help to release you from your captivity. I must help to free you from your occupation. And then another narration reported by Hudayfa, Rasulullah said, whoever does not take an interest in the affairs of the ummah, then he is not from us. And in similar narration, the one who wakes up without concern for the affairs of the ummah, then he is not from us. And how many people like that today? They wake up in the morning, what have I got for breakfast? 6 eggs and toast. First thing you should be doing is, I want to check on the net, I want to check the news. What's going on with the ummah? What's happening in Indonesia? What's happening in Iraq, Afghanistan? What's happening to the ummah? The ummah are not living in some, Jannah al-Firdaus, where we all got matai and we all got, gulab jamun and stuff like that. No, the ummah is in complete crisis nowadays. We find out all of our lands are occupied. We've got tyrant rulers above our heads. We've got a complete military war taking place. And above all of that, which is much bigger than the military war, is the ideological crusade against Islam and the Muslims, where they want to completely strip our identity, change our religion from within and make us become kafir. Change our religion. Meaning, and if that was not all enough, they want to violate the sanctity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where His haqq is that we rule and judge by whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed. They want to violate that. Abu Musa al-Ashari, he said that the Muslim body is like one building. One part of it strengthens one another. Do we have that today? How many people we find within captivity? Guantanamo Bay. And for years you find kuffar, they're coming out and they're doing demonstrations. Kuffar, they come out and they demonstrate and they said, look, human rights, yeah, this is illegal. Even now, Afia Siddiqui, they're talking about her on Islam channel now. Why? How are they talking about her? How are they describing her case? Oh, this goes against the United Nations human rights and all of this bakwas. What are you talking about? Human rights. People want to run to the UN for to help our brothers and sisters within Palestine. When the United Nations was assembled and when it came about, which previously used to be known as the Christian nations, yeah, the first resolution that they brought up was the recognition of the state of Israel. And you want to go to the dog? The same dog which gave the land away to those occupiers, you want to go to them and ask them for help? That should never be the case. And in fact, our Salaf, our great predecessors, and those people who were the Muwahhideen of the past, they understood how to deal with the oppression, how to react when we, to the fasad and to the corruption and to all of those issues which we find ourselves in today. Let us look just to get an idea of the type of feeling and emotion that the Muslims they used to have. Look to Umar al-Khattab. During his time, there were 3 men that were captured. Now let us link it to our reality. Like today, we hear so-and-so person, he's been arrested and he's been sent inside Guantanamo Bay. And they say he's the senior man of Al-Qaeda. Senior man of Al-Qaeda. And afterwards you find out he's this young boy who was 15 years old, Brother Umar. Yeah, he's a senior member of Al-Qaeda. They said, Guantanamo Bay, we could not close it down because this houses some of the world's most dangerous criminals. There's one man who was released from there. You know how old he was? 102 years old. 102 years old. He is a threat to national security. Indeed, is a threat to national security. The threat to national security is the one who says La ilaha illallah and he believes upon it and he's prepared to sacrifice and die for it as well. Meaning he never compromises his belief. He is the threat to national security. Meaning today, if you are somebody who really believes upon Tawheed, you are a terrorist. Knowingly or unknowingly. Yeah, but the kuffar, they regard you, every Muslim, as a terrorist today. It's because they study our books. Unfortunately, we don't study our books. They understand. You go to the British Library, go to the MI5, they understand our books. I know one brother, he was arrested and he was in Paddington Station And they were saying, why aren't you going to do your jihad now? This is the MI5 officer. Why aren't you going to do your jihad now? He said, what do you mean, how am I going to do jihad now? He said, yes, the greatest jihad is to speak a word of truth against a tyrant ruler. Why aren't you going to do that now? You see, Kafir, he understands that, but we don't understand that. That's why we need to go back to the divine text and the understanding of the Salaf Salih. Al-Faruq, during his time, 3 men were captured. What did Al-Faruqi do? Did he say, I'm just going to wait, it's not my business, I've got my own business, Akhi, you know, hikmah, Akhi, what are we talking about? If we make too much noise, yeah, then they're going to oppress us, yeah? Or I'm only representative of the Muslims within Britain, like Muslim Council of Britain, who are appointed by the Labour government anyway, yeah? Did Al-Faruqi say that? You know what he said? He never said, I want those free Muslims returned within 24 hours. He said, I want them returned by the next day, dawn, before Salat al-Fajr. And if they are not returned, then I will turn the entire city upside down. The entire city upside down. You know the kuffar, they did at that time? The kuffar, they returned those free Muslims. On top of that, they gave apology and they gave compensation as well. And they made some excuse, oh, it was the wrong people, we were meant to capture somebody else. You see, this is the golden era. When we talk about the Sharia, this is the fruits of the Sharia that used to come about. We always dispute amongst each other. When is the moon of Ramadan being sighted? That's not the month, the moon of Ramadan, yeah? Yeah. When is the moon of Ramadan going to be sighted? And we're fighting over each other. Did you know that the kuffar, they used to argue and debate over this as well? Because they used to know that the mujahideen, they're prepared in the month of Ramadan, and that's the month where the deeds, they multiplied. So the kuffar, they used to send gifts to the Islamic State. Calm those Muslims down, we know they're going to be in action. That's how the kuffar, they used to regard us. You think they're worried about Ramadan now? Well, yeah, they are, yeah. Okay, yeah. But you think they do that now? Nowadays they're just too busy. They're praising Whitechapel Masjid in Ramadan and having samosa with them and saying, we're so proud of this mosque because they've been doing their utmost to fight terrorism within the local community. So the fuqaha, they said, look, the duty of the Khalif, which is what Al-Faruqi understood. He said the duty of the Khalif, the fuqaha, they said, is to release the asir. Show me one of those hukam, one of those leaders who do that today. In fact, all of those leaders you can find today, when it comes to their own human rights records and violation of that, they are the biggest culprits of that. Egypt, for example, 25, 30,000, 60,000 people sitting behind bars, and those prisons are worse than these prisons here. You go within there, you'll never come back out again. You see, they're the people who arrest the Muslims and hand them over to the kuffar. Let's look to just how the governors, forget the Khalif, how the governors, they used to understand the obligation of releasing the asir, how they used to have this empathy, this wala with the believers. Look to Al-Mu'tasim. Al-Mu'tasim, very famous story, he was a governor of Al-Amuriya, which was Malta. At that time there was one sister that was captured. And nobody knew who it was. All they knew, it was one of the strongholds of the Romans, of the Crusaders. He said, Ayyu balad al-Rum al-Shab. He said, just tell me the strongest, the biggest stronghold of the Romans, and I will go and I will destroy all of them. At that time, the Christians, who were the Crusaders, they used to have these superstitious ideas. They said, if you've got a white horse with a black spot, then you will be victorious. And the Christians, they always used to have 3 horses. Come on, you got 3 horses, we got a lot. You know what I mean? Al-Mu'tasim, at that time the cry was made, Wa Mu'tasima, Wa Mu'tasima, Wa Mu'tasima. Very famous. You see it on the banners, on the internet, and all of this sort of business. At that time he said, is that what they got? 3 horses. He said, prepare 35,000 horses, all of them white with a black spot. You got 3, we got a lot, ya Sheikh. We'll come and we'll destroy you. And he went there, destroyed those kuffar, and he released the sister from captivity. That's Al-Mu'tasim. Then let's look to the example of Al-Mansur. Al-Mansur, he was from North Andalus. Al-Mansur, it means victorious. Yeah, Al-Mansur. He fought for 2 years in jihad with the entire army. He conquered about 2-3 cities, got all of the gold. Unlike today, which people, they're saying, I'm doing jihad today. When am I going to do jihad? I'm going to kiss my wife. That bad, is it? I'm doing jihad, I'm going to sell tomatoes. Talking about these people are living in cuckoo land. When he came back to the city, you know, they used to have like an alarm, like a warning, like a signal, which used to be sent that the mujahideen, they're coming back. Yeah, and this used to be like a signal for the women to prepare themselves. Obviously, you go and fight 2 years in jihad. You can't be coming home and your wife, she smells of onion and garlic. You know what I mean? Give some time to prepare herself. She'll clean herself up for you. When he entered the city, there was one old woman, and she came to Al-Mansur. She said, are you Al-Mansur the victorious? Now obviously the man is not somebody who's proud and got arrogancy inside him. Yeah, he said, yeah, they called me Al-Mansur, the victorious, but Allah the one who gives victory. She said, in my eyes, I see you as somebody defeated. He's like, how can you call me defeated now? I went for 2 years, I fought, I conquered a couple of cities, I done all of this, yeah? And yet you call me the defeated? She said, my son has been held in captivity, he's been captured by the kuffar, until he is released, then I see you as somebody defeated. Al-Mansur, now obviously it's tough now, he's just 2 years you've been fighting, you just come home now. You know what I mean, to the biryani now, and the chicken now. What are you going to do now? Al-Mansur, he turned to his army and he said, who from amongst you is ready to go and fight for the sake of Allah to release this, our mother's son? See, he understands this al-Akhuwa brotherhood, that she's not that boy's mother, she's my mother. She said, who is willing to release the son of our mother? All of them, they said, we will all go. All of them, they said, we will go, except one man. One old man, he was pushing his feet. You know how old this man was? 60 years old. 60 years old, the man went and fought 2 years jihad. He came and he said to the woman, he said, my mother, give me excuse. I fought for 2 years and I only have a few months maybe left to live. I just want to see my grandchildren. If you can find an excuse for me, please excuse me. What do you think, the old woman, she said? She said, no, I don't find no excuse for you. You still got to go. This woman's tough. This woman's not letting go. She said, as far as your governor is concerned, Al-Mansur, he's the defeated, and I find no excuse for you. So Al-Mansur is stuck now, he's in a situation. Al-Mansur, he said, look, what do you want me to do? She said, I want you to do what Umar ibn Abdul Aziz did. What did Umar ibn Abdul Aziz do? During his time, when some Muslims were captured, they said, look, if we take one, for the sake of that one Muslim, if we take 2 kuffar as captives, and we exchange them for that one Muslim, should we do so? He said, indeed. He said, what if the kuffar, they ask for 4 for one Muslim? He said, 4, go and give them 4. What if they want 8? Give them 8. What if they want 16? Give them 16. Give them whatever you want. Don't you know that when you free one Muslim from captivity, it is as if you are buying Islam. Buying Islam. You see, the swords of brotherhood, the global brotherhood that we are talking about, it is a matter of aqeedah. It is a matter of, not commandment of Allah, but is above my head. It is a matter of my belief. If I don't fulfill that, I'll become in violation of that. So, Al-Mansur, he said, look, my mother, how about if I do this? How about if I take, and he grabbed his sword, he took his sword out. He said, if I take my sword and the sword of this old man, then will you make excuse for this man? She said, now I make excuse for you. She went out, he conquered a couple of cities, he came back, he got the son. And he said, my mother, did I not fulfill my covenant with you? I brought back your son. Am I the victorious now? Am I Al-Mansur? She said, now you're the victorious. Now I can call you the victorious. So that was Al-Mansur. And then we have the last final example which I want to give you is that of Hakam bin Hisham. Hakam bin Hisham, he was from Andalus. At that time, the Christians, they used to have bandits and they used to go out. This was around the Andalusia, around Spain, around that region. At that time, the Christians, they used to go out like bandits and kidnap people. Yeah, and the Christians at that time, they captured one caravan. This caravan was carrying one Muslim sister, her mother and father, and 2 brothers. The kuffar, they killed all of them. And they captured this one sister, 19 years old. And they took her to the king at that time. So they went, when the sister was brought to the king said, what you got for me today? Meaning, what you got? Some Barclay card or something like that, some money, some booty. They said, we got for you one Muslim, one Muslimah, one sister. He said, I tried all women of the world, but I never tried one Muslimah. He held her in captivity and he raped her. From her cell, she said, Aina anta ya Hakam, Aina anta ya Hakam, Aina anta ya Hakam. Where are you, O Hakam bin Hisham? The news, it spread from city to city until it reached this governor, Hakam bin Hisham. The news spread to him and he said, where has she been captured? They said, all we know is she's been captured by the kuffar. You know what he done? He rallied an army of 60,000 Muslims. He said, I don't know what city she's been captured in. I don't even know where she is. But we will go from city to city to try and find her. Just before he left, he said to his wife, he said, by Allah, you are haram for me. You are haram for me until I rescue this sister. He conquered 3 cities along the way, before he even got to the place where the sister was captured. For 1 entire year he fought. For 1 entire year he took an army of 60,000 mujahideen. He conquered 3 cities, turned them completely upside down and got all of the booty. When he reached the gates of the area where the sister was in captivity, he said, I will offer the money, all of the booty that we got from these three cities in exchange for this one sister. The messenger went and he took it to the king. The king, you know what he said? He said, over my dead body. Barack Obama, he said, over my dead body we will give you Afia Siddiqui. He said, over your dead body? Indeed, over your dead body it will happen. Hakam bin Hisham, he entered the city, destroyed this entire city, completely took it upside down. He got the king and he beheaded him publicly. Then he went to the sister and he said to the sister, Labayka ya uqta. He said, oh my sister, did I not respond? Did I not respond to the call? She said, are you Hakam bin Hisham? Are you the one who they call Hakam bin Hisham? He said, my sister, I respond to the call of Allah, come with me. When he went back, he went to Qurtuba, Granada, which is where he was from. And he went back to his wife. You know what his wife said? She said, you remember when you left and you said to me that I am haram for you until you release this sister? She said, by Allah, I am still haram for you until you marry this sister now. And she gave her money as dowry for Hakam bin Hisham to marry this sister. You see? So then she went to then Hakam bin Hisham. He went to her and he said, "My sister, do you accept this offer in marriage?" She said, "It is better for me to be a slave of a muwahhid than to be a captive of the kafir." That was Hakam bin Hisham. So when we talk about the swords of brotherhood today, we are talking about not just the physical swords, but we are talking about the swords of the tongues at least, to speak out for those weak, for those oppressed, and to always defend them. When you do that, you will understand the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he said, "Al-Muslimun ummatun wahida min durin nas, ardahum wahida wa harbahum wahida." That the Muslim ummah is one ummah, one unique ummah, with exception to all others, and that their land is one, and that their war is one, and that their peace is one, and that their honor is one. When we have that, my dear brothers, we will establish something called Iqamatul Ummah, the establishment of the Ummah, and we will establish Talibul Izzah, where we will have complete sovereignty, supremacy, and dignity for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah Azza wa Jal, and His command, and we will establish the Sharia over the noses of the kuffar. Wa sallallahu Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.